Hello everyone, nubkeks here. Welcome back to Nub Raids. I'm finally back from holiday. We are back and we're good to go. And there's been some big stuff dropped while I was away. Of course, we've got the new Clan Wars. That's going to be the main focus of the video today. There's also this event, this Path of Light on. I actually missed a guaranteed Nia. I actually just did not play the game for a couple of days, which is the first time in I don't know, so long that I've done that. I usually still play, but I completely missed a couple of days and completely missed White Dryad Nia, which is very sad. We do have this event on right now. My initial things that I saw from people online is everyone is skipping this. I actually also think that at a quick glance, I kind of wish that I had been able to grab that Nia, even just to capitalize on Trunda for a little bit before they do any changes. Because like this mythical tome is quite juicy. It's quite a cheap path to zip through and grab some rewards, but for me at this point, I don't know. I haven't quite decided. Like, there's a couple of days left on it. I don't know if I'm bothered to do this whole freaking thing with champion training now. In a couple of days, that seems too intense. I'll probably just skip it all and enjoy the weekend off. But, the soul is for a fairly underwhelming champion, but it is a soul. It's a relatively accessible path. It seems like they kind of know the champion sucks, and they put, like that essence is nice, right? The mythical tome is nice, and Eternal Soulstone, it's not so bad. There's also a pretty bad summoning event on right now as well. Like in here, Michinaki's great. I mean, look, if you don't have a Michinaki, Michinaki Geomancer, it's actually not so bad. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. And like Sulfurion, it's like, okay, you know what? Now I actually look at it, the summoning event isn't terrible, but it is just sort of out in the middle of nowhere, really. So that definitely puts me off. Oh my god, my neighbor's kid is just rang the front doorbell like 10 times in a row. Oh my god, my girlfriend went and answered. That's too funny. That's too funny. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, well, we've got these events on right now. I'm imagining there's going to be more stuff during the week. Yeah, so like looking at this right now, I'm imagining some pretty big news could drop on like Monday, Tuesday. There's definitely going to be stuff happening next week that is going to be part of this Midsummer Festival. I mean, definitely the wording. I saw Saf mention this, that the wording of this Midsummer Festival was suggesting that there's going to be lots of different summon boosts for some of Raid's most feared champions. Like, there could be other guaranteed champion events. I mean, Insensa that's her there. She's the newest Void Legendary. She had like a 10x event during Void 2x. So I'd be pretty surprised if they did a guaranteed for her. But I mean, she's in the picture. I don't know. There could be more guaranteed stuff during the week. There could be more stuff. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out on Monday exactly what the plans are. But look, there we are. That's sort of the stuff that's on at the moment. Let's talk about the big news, though. There's big news coming on the 10th of July. That's in what, like 3 weeks? Roughly 3. So basically probably the next big patch is going to be the... actually, yeah. Let me think about it. So the fusion's just ended. Like... That seems weird. There could be a big gap between the next fusion, like a bigger gap than usual. And then, hey, bam, new fusion, new content, big new drop. I would have expected maybe the next fusion to be a little bit quicker than this. But hey, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think that lines up? But July 10th, what is coming? You guys can't hear the sound. Let me turn it on. I'm not sure if this will actually come through in the recording. Prepare for battles on a scale not seen before. I mean, this is the money shot right here. This is the main thing. These are the only gameplay teas that we have. Now, this ties in very directly to when I got to talk to the developers when I was over filming the Raid Community Awards, right? One of the big things they talked about, or they revealed, was that when they develop new content for the game, they're often trying to make that content do multiple different things, like just the tech level, enabling them to do other stuff. So the example they gave me was Mythical Champions, that they had this idea for Mythical Champions for ages, and they wanted to do it for a long time, but there was like a big tech burden to actually implementing it in the game. But when they made Hydra, right, the technology that was developed for Hydra and for the heads, like decapitating and swapping forms, that tech was then able to be used to build mythical champions. Now, when I look at this I've gone to the wrong thing. I'm looking at some Trunda stuff. Oh, I'm gonna do a video on what I think might happen for Hydra Clash tomorrow. But if I look at this, I mean, obviously enough, Curse City, right? This looks very much like the tech that was developed to build the Curse City is now being brought across into this new game mode, right? Into this what looks to be Clan Wars. I'm pretty sure it's Clan Wars. Interesting about this is that these different places are called posts, and there's room for like one person in each one. We have magic towers, level 1 of 3, defense towers 1 of 3, strongholds. There's even magic shrines, level 1 of 3 as well. It's a bit blurry. There's room for 2 people in the magic tower, defense tower. Looks like there might be room for 6 people in the mana shrine and 18 people in the stronghold. I'm very curious about this. Like, my assumption is that, again, this is Clan Wars. I'm guessing that probably we'll find out for sure close soon enough, right? My guess, though, it is a guess, is that probably clans would take turns of like attacking and defending, and that, yeah, you'd work your way through that. So on defense, I'm guessing it will be a build your own Cursed City thing. I think to make it like Cursed City stages have restrictions. Maybe you'll be able to, like, your clan leader might choose between different restrictions. Here's actually one interesting tidbit. I don't know if it's been talked about before, but they added new ranks. I don't know where you can even see it here. I mean, if I click in it keeps it roll. They added new clan ranks a while ago. And everyone was like, you know, what are these new clan ranks? These new role. There's some new role. I don't know what it, like lieutenant or something. And people were like, what's the point of this? What's it for? What does it do? Well, I'm pretty sure that it's going to tie into the new clan wars. That's basically the hint that they gave us was, yeah, okay, there's this new clan rank. It's not super useful right now. It was a patch or 2 ago. They said it will be useful in the future. I think it's going to tie in. I think it's going to tie into this new feature. And might enable like the clan leaders to assign people to defense, or I'm guessing it would be kind of cool if you could pick the limitations for the stage, sort of build your own Cursed City type defense, and then the enemy has to fight their way through. I think one challenge is definitely that you need to have the ability for, clans to communicate and strategize, but you also need the opposite. You also need, like, your average Joe that's just playing on my phone on my way to work, and like he's not going to be chatting with his clan and strategizing. He's like, bro, I'm just playing the game for fun, right? That your average Joe can come in and just sort of blitz through some fights and like it will be okay, right? So I think that'd be kind of cool if like the clan leader could pick things. You jump in to defend stages. Maybe when your stage gets defeated and taken over, you jump over like to defend something new. And yeah, you could, again, maybe that's where the strategy comes in. It's like, can we build up some choke points? Like, where do we put our best defenses, our best players? Where do we put them? Which path is the enemy? Like, are they making just a beeline towards the back? I'm sure the magic towers, like these different towers and stuff, will give some sort of bonuses when they're taken down. And yeah, I honestly think this could be super fun. This could be really, really fun. Again, it's, at the end of the day, Raid is, it's a game with a lot of pay to win stuff in it, right? So with a PvP mode, you can never, in my opinion, you can never take it too seriously because there's pay to win. But that being said, I still personally find PvP in Raid extremely fun. I think it's one of the highlights of the game. I think this could be really genuinely very good. And I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. That, to me, it definitely looks to me like they've basically taken the Cursed City tech and they've built this into a new mode. I think it's great. CVC, clan versus clan. People don't like it too much. I personally like it a lot because I stream. I've missed the last one, so I'm annoyed. It's one of my highlights for my every couple of weeks is doing my CVC stream. So I love it. Make a bit of a community event out of it. But I think a lot of people don't like CVC that much. I personal thing, I enjoy it. I think this has potential to be really cool. One big question for me. Let me know what you think about this. What rewards? What rewards should be in here, right? It's kind of tricky. Like, what stuff are we missing the most? Like, genuinely for me, I actually kind of feel like Soul Stones, we're not in a terrible spot with Souls and with Soul Stones now. With Cursed City giving some more, and with these new extra drop chance events that they've been running. You've got now the Prism Soulstone things as well. And like again, these events that are giving guaranteed souls, I actually feel like the soul situation isn't too terrible. It's not the worst. So it might be nice to drop some soul stones, but that doesn't seem so important. Whereas a while ago, if you'd asked me this a few months ago, I would have definitely said souls are really limited. I think the biggest things for me, probably, just even basic things like give a whole bunch of silver, gems, maybe even energy, just really basic stuff like that. Just big chunks of those rewards could be great. It's simple but effective. I think people are always short of these basic things. That might be nice instead of like a bunch of new currencies. The other big one would be, some primal shards. That's pretty big. Primal shards, again, making this, a source of your mythical skill tomes. Those things would be really, really big as well. So they're new. They're a bit lacking. Now, the other question, of course, I saw, by the way, Hades and Saf did a video on this already. I'm sorry. I'm doubling up, right? You guys are getting, a couple of big videos on this in the one day. This was like the obvious day one back video. I'm like, oh, shit, Hades has done the same thing. Well, wow. New clan boss. Now, this obviously is not coming soon, but it's clearly something that they try to do, definitely, is every December, big content. I think this stands out as the obvious big content to drop in December. Like, December, Hydra was like a end of year release. Doom Tower. I think Curse City was end of year release, right? It's when they drop. They really try to drop their big content there. There's nothing obvious else to drop in. Like, there's nothing much else obvious hinted towards in the game apart from another clan boss. And I think it would actually be a pretty good timing, right? Like, we got Doom Tower, then we got Hydra. Then I think there was a year break, actually, which was the year they were invaded. I think there was that was when blessings and stuff came to the game. I think was sort of November-y, but I don't think there was any major new content. It was just like, I think it was like Iron Twins and maybe Shogun Sand Devil were around then, that sort of stuff. Yeah, and then we had Live Arena, I think was supposed to be sort of December content, and that got pushed back. But yeah, then Curse City. I think jumping back, going Doom Tower Clan Boss, Curse City Clan Boss makes sense. I could totally see this Clan Boss coming at end of year. I think that makes a ton of sense, actually. It could be pretty cool. Again, it raises the question of what the rewards could be, because they have said Void Mythicals are not on the cards for the near future. So I don't think that this would be anything to do with Void Mythicals. I think that they're totally happy just continually adding regular Mythicals in for the time being. So the Great Void, that doesn't look to be where Void Mythicals are going to come from. Or maybe eventually it will. Like they added stuff in, after the fact with Hydra. Maybe they could do Void Mythicals eventually and add it in here eventually, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be the core rewards. So what could it be? I do think there's the potential to have a sacred shard version of a void shard, right? A void shard is basically a void version of an ancient. You could totally have, a void version of a sacred. Like, I don't know, an abyss shard is an obvious name for it. Abyss, it sounds cool. An abyss shard. Maybe they want to not go too crazy on the shard types. They could have an abyss shard, give you like void mythicals. It's also not out of the question that they could simply add in voids into the primal shard pool whenever that comes out, though, in the future as well. So I'm not super sure. This new clan boss, that could simply be a new source of primal shards and mythical tomes. Who the heck knows? And going back to something I said earlier about building on content, I think this Clan Wars obviously builds on Curse City. I think that this new clan boss would probably be something brand new. Like Hydra was brand new. I think the clan bosses are really the premier content. I mean, like Doom Tower and Curse City are their own things, and they're great as well. But I think the clan bosses sort of stand up as the ultimate bosses. Like Hydra is so complex. There's so much in Hydra. I think that's really what to expect out of the Great Void, is that it will be this equally massive and complex thing that's going to require tons of champions built up. It's something that can keep going. Like Hydra is something that you can sort of keep investing in forever. Like Demon Lord keeps you going for a few months, but then it's sort of fallen off. Like I do wonder we could see like a Demon Lord clash at some point or something like it's possible. Or some sort of challenge modes for Demon Lord. I wouldn't object to revisiting the Demon Lord at some point. But like Hydra, there's so much content in there. I really do think that this is going to be when it comes out. I think something similar. And like I said, I think it will have some brand new mechanics that would then feed into new, much like Hydra, let them build mythicals. I think whatever new stuff in here could let them build like a new type of champion. Because like we've had mythical, we've had faction unity champs as well. I could totally see like a new archetype really of champion come out of this new mode. I think that could be pretty cool. So there you go. I mean, we could also get, you know, we get a guaranteed mythical. We get a mythical champ, Carnage from Curse City. We could see a mythical champ tied into this Clan Wars. That could be a cool reward. We could see a mythical champ tying into to a new clan boss at the end of the year. I think that's possible as well. I do. Another to touch on a few other bits. This is what Hades did as well. I'll give some quick fire thoughts here on any other updates I think could come in the near future. Let's touch on Hydra because it's right here. We obviously know that they're going to be adding rewards to Hydra Clash for 4th and 5th. Great. We know that they're looking at rebalancing Hydra. I'm going to do a video on that probably tomorrow. Some thoughts on what might actually change. Like, let's get our thinking caps on. I've been thinking about it already today. I'm back in work mode today. I've racked up so many steps. By the way, shout out. We've got our Hell Hades, our step challenge. My phone is mirrored because I don't know why I've mirrored. I think because the microphone's on this side. I mirror so I actually, you're seeing a mirror image of me. You don't know what I actually look like. I'm the other way around. It's crazy. But I'm doing good. We're 22 days into June right now. I'm on 234,000 steps. So I'm actually 14,000 ahead of schedule, which is nice. I thought I might have fallen behind, but I'm actually good. So looking good for the 300,000 steps in June. I'll probably do some more. I think we're going to be promoting that a bit more coming into the end of it. Basically fundraising for the Muscular Dystrophy UK cause, which is a great cause. I've talked about that before, but that's going really well. Why did I jump onto that topic? I have no idea. How did I get to that? Oh my God, I'm all over the place. Anyway, that's important. Yes, I was talking about Hydra. I had to pause the video to think about that a little bit. But yeah, we'll do the video on Hydra tomorrow. One really interesting thing from what they've said to us before, though, is that, remember back in the day, they had a Hydra roadmap with like new heads and new difficulties and stuff that never happened. They said to us straight up, the new Hydra head, we built it. Like, that's been good to go for ages. Like, that was developed and built and done and finished, and it was ready to go. And then, like, people, I think they didn't say why, but my assumption is people didn't really like Hydra that much, right? And people were really struggling with Hydra, so they just never actually released it. But I mean, it's basically out there as a fact that, yeah, another Hydra head, it exists, it's built, it's finished, designed, done, bug tested, everything. So that is something new that could be added at some point, like at any point, really. They could drop in a new Hydra head, a new update. Like, that is something that I think is reasonably possible for like October, right? Maybe sooner, but you know, obviously we've got this new Clan Wars. It looks to be coming in July. Massive new content in December. I don't think updating Hydra is massive new content. They could totally drop something in for Hydra, like again, like September, October, sort of midway through to pace things out if they wanted, because we know that they're working on updating Hydra Clash and a bit about Hydra, how Hydra works. That could be a time to drop in a new head. Maybe not. Maybe they'll just come in and add in, like, just update the systems, but not actually change anything. But I do think that from talking to the devs as well, they said they're very happy with how Hydra is going. Obviously, they're not happy with Hydra Clash and that level and the balance and whatnot. But that they're happy that people are pushing a kind of crazy numbers, like with just more normal, like this is a normal team, right? Crazy damage out of this one, right? There's a 6-star Carnage, by the way, absolutely slamming it. That's interesting to see. Oh, here's Marius. Marius is... I fought Marius once in live arena just before I left on holiday. The guy's freaking insane, by the way. Absolutely busted. But yeah, people are pushing huge Hydra numbers. I think they're happy with how that's going in general. We'll talk about it more in the video tomorrow. But yeah, this could prompt... I do think that new Hydra head, the Hydra roadmap actually happening, possibly higher difficulties, more Hydra heads. I think that's something that could come. I don't know how soon, but I think it's likely that that could come at some point. It sort of makes sense. If it's content already built, that seems like something they could easily drop in with people really smashing it. For Arena... I think they did say before that there was a Tag Arena rework coming and it never came. So I would love to see something like that coming, some sort of updates, quality of life. Again, I don't think a massive rework or anything like that, but I think some sort of quality of life for Tag Arena would be really nice. That never came. Live Arena, I think there's definitely potential for, again, more of these battle rule stuff, right? To come in, some sort of seasons. That seems like it's very far away as well. I'm not expecting anything on that this year, but maybe next year that could be something, right? Some sort of seasonal, yeah, some sort of PvP updates. But yeah, it seems for now, I really feel like Arena is like, Arena's, where it sort of feels like it's on the back burner. Let me know what you guys think, but that's sort of my vibes. Fingers crossed, maybe for Tag Arena updates would be the first thing I'd like to see, and then Live Arena maybe in the future. What else could we see? Now, one thing that they're definitely thinking about, which I think could be cool, and they've said it, is new faction war difficulties. I think that could be sick, right? Like maybe hard mode faction wars or more stages. That could be really cool, like with mythicals, with faction unity champions, but just how many more champions there are and power creep in the game and stuff like that. I think more faction war stages could be pretty cool. Like there is this like faction war area bonuses that's sort of pointless as well. So I could totally see that being something that is definitely built on. I'm getting there with Hydra. We're getting there. I've sort of been trying to do more Live Arena. That got interrupted by my holiday. So that's definitely in there. Cursed City. Let's touch on that as well. We've mentioned it already. I do think that some changes to Cursed City will definitely come before the end of the year. Like I'd be almost certain that's going to happen. Like when Cursed City came out, it was received pretty positively. And I think that the opinion of it kind of went down a bit over time. But yeah, look, they definitely gathered. Remember, they put out like surveys and stuff, gathering feedback on Cursed City. I think that a lot of people, most people just can't even clear. Like I've never fully cleared hard Soul Cross. I got very close last time. The free regearing honestly makes a huge difference. It really does. But yeah, like clearing Soul Cross is tough. I think a lot of people simply have not. I think there's very few accounts really that have fully cleared Cursed City. So again, I think they sort of push back their plans to balance it. But I'm hoping that there might be plans to switch this up. Like I think they've said they're open in the past to switching up the placements of floors, to switching up the bosses, to mix things up. At the moment, there's 6 rotations, and it's just sort of randomizing now the different floors. So like, next rotation, this could be any one of the set, stage S3 hard mode floors, and they're sort of randomized, right? So right now it's in a real it's still the same as when it first came out. It's just sort of randomly cycling the stages every rotation. I could definitely see some more bigger updates coming to this. Personally, they talked about even, further difficulties of this coming at some point, but I think because so few people have finished Soul Cross that they were kind of like, I could totally see a new difficulty coming, and they could I'd actually like to see Soul Cross and normal Amius. They're the big ones for me. Be reduced in difficulty if they're adding further difficulties, and like in further difficulties, they could definitely up the challenge of the other areas, which are not like definitely Cobble Market's very easy, for instance. So you could have a bit of a smoother progression. Like I think within like the hard floors, right? Within hard, the difference between a stage at the start of Cobble Market and the difference between a stage at the end of Soul Cross is, like 2 years worth of progress in the game. It's absolutely bananas. I like more anyway, that's something that could come. I do think that smaller tweaks, I don't think there's going to be any major changes to Cursed City, but I think you could totally see some balancing to it. Some of the hard floors may be made a bit easier. Maybe not, because, like with people getting mythical champions slowly, and if they add more sources, those mythicals help a ton. Like it's very much designed for mythicals in a lot of ways. So yeah, that's something I could totally see some small changes coming to that. One big thing, the missions, I could see more missions. I think there's another set of missions planned after this. And again, that's something that's maybe further in the future. I could see that maybe like in October or even next year, like February or something. But I think there's more missions. Like it's striking to me that, like, for instance, do 9 million damage to Hydra on hard difficulty. Like, bro, that's super easy. Like these missions, even part 3, like it sort of cuts off fairly early into, like, there's clearly room for a whole other set of missions, including Hydra stuff and Cursed City, and they could update that to include like clan wars if that is the new content, right? missions including clan wars, or again, if there's a new clan boss at the end of the year, that could be included as well. I think there's definitely room for more missions. I think the missions have been really positively received. I mean, like, some of them are annoying and tedious, there's no question, very annoying, and some of them are tedious, but just the idea of like progressing through and getting, just having like a bar to fill up, right, and just you're making progress through the missions. I think that's been received fairly well. So I could totally see follow-on missions from Marius expanding those. Maybe even Romantu, like the Arbiter. I don't know. Like they could expand them further or have them just be subsequent ones. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's definitely room for more missions. I think that's definitely something that will come, but I think it's pretty far away. They've said with the factions, it was interesting to me as well. They joked about it in the they did joke about a new faction being like goblin mechs or something like that, right? Super fun in the community awards. So, but from talking to them, they're kind of like, I don't think the devs seemed like there was an actual new faction coming soon. So I think a new faction is still a ways out. I could see that coming next year though. That would definitely be like a early to mid. I think that could totally be a thing that comes in 2025, maybe even late 2025. But I don't think that's probably coming this year, a new faction. But yeah, I think that's obviously something that will come, but it doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon, is my vibes on it. And then finally, I would say, with dungeons, I think there's room for dungeons, right? We just had nerfs, so that's one interesting. Like, they massively nerfed, like Sand Devil and Shogun, like they've been massively nerfed, and Iron Twins. There is clearly room for, obviously with the regular dungeons, they're up to stage 10 of hard. Stage normal goes up to stage 25. I think there's definitely room for further stages of hard mode dungeons. Again, that seems like it's more of a far out thing, maybe 2025. But that is there. Then I think even further in the future, there's definitely the possibility for hard mode now with the nerfs of these dungeons and becoming more accessible. Like, I could see in like a year or two, maybe in a year or more, hard mode for like Sand Devil or Shogun, or hard mode for Iron Twins, or maybe hard mode for even Potion Keeps or Minotaurs. These ones are more just small farmy ones, but that could be kind of cool. Nothing major, but it could be kind of a fun little mini update for them to drop in. But I could easily see more hard mode dungeons coming at some point, like with the sort of power creep in the game. Yeah, let me know. What do you think? What are your predictions for what's coming? Again, for me, for 2024, I think, obviously, big prediction, 10th of July, we're going to have, it looks to be Clan Wars, right? Clan Wars is definite. I'd be fairly confident in guessing that probably new clan boss will be for December. And I think we'll also definitely see updates to Hydra Clash this year. They're the definites. And then I think potentially maybe we could hope for some updates to Tag Arena. That's a small thing. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the other stuff could be further out, and maybe some updates to Curse City as well could come this year. I'm not sure if there's going to be any other big content this year. I think the rest of it's going to be more moving forwards. I'm pretty sure, again, from talking to the devs, that like everything for this year has basically been mostly done now, or they're just sort of finishing it up, and that they're already kind of preparing stuff for, that first half of 2025 at this point. Like, I think they're fairly set on stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like, I do think that, new faction wars would be fairly likely, but I think probably for next year. I think early next year, new faction wars is fairly likely. And maybe a new Hydra head or something. I could see those things coming like early next year. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? What would you like to see as well? And again, what are you hoping for in terms of rewards for what looks to be a new clan versus clan fight? Yeah, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.